Welcome back to Phillips on the Farm. It's good to have y'all back with the family again today. Today I'm going to be working on processing some ducks. You can hear them in the background now. They're excited about this project. So, a friend of mine had some surplus ducks, and we ended up with them. And we're going to process, and I say we, I guess that's just me today. The beautiful bride is off at work. So I'm going to process the ducks today and about, I think, 9 ducks and 11 chickens. So I've done chicken processing videos in the past. I'll put a link to those down below in the description, but I haven't done ducks. They're really similar, but I wanted to show the process again today. This will be the first time I try to run ducks in the plucker as well, so I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out. It has been way below freezing and snow and ice for the last 2.5 weeks, and then about 2 or 3 days ago it turned over to rain, and now all I'm left with is a big muddy mess out here. So I'm going to try to kind of move stuff around. I've got things on this side of the building, but my processing table's still over on the other side, and it's too big really for me to move by myself. I don't want to get the tractor down in here. It just makes bigger ruts to move the table. So we're going to move the camera around a couple of times today and show you how to butcher a duck. A couple of quick pieces of equipment here. This is my yard bird plucker. I got it at a Mother Earth convention during COVID. We went down to Texas, and this was their demo model, and I came back with it at a bargain, and I have used it numerous times. It's probably processed 300 or 400 chickens at this point in time, and like I said, today will be its first trial run on the ducks. Over here, I've got a tank. This is one of our enamelware water bath canners to do the scalding with. So this water gets up to about 145 to 150 degrees. I'll dip the ducks and chickens into the water, loosen all their feathers, and then I'll put them in the plucker. So over here are our killing cones. The birds go in here head down. I'll slit their throat so that they can bleed and die humanely as possible in these cones. This will allow them to bleed. If you don't bleed them, the meat is darker. And most people expect the meat to kind of look like it does at the grocery store. So by hanging these things upside down and letting them bleed well, before I put them in the scalding and the plucker, that kind of takes care of that problem. Then after that, I'll come back over here to this stainless steel table. It's my processing table. I've got to kind of stand in the mud to do this. It's pretty muddy from us digging the water line from my previous video. It's still right here. But I'm going to process the ducks here. I've got a couple of stainless steel bowls. The hearts, livers, and gizzards will go into one. And a friend of ours is going to turn that into dog food. And then the other one will get all the necks. And another friend of ours is going to get all those to use for stock. Man, the ducks are excited about this project. They have no idea. It's going to be a good day. So I'm not really sure if you can see that well, but the water is now up to right at almost 150 degrees. So I've turned the fire down. You can hear it's not roaring like a jet engine now. Now that I've got the water ready, I'm ready to start catching the ducks and move on to that process. So a friend of mine gave me some advice for these videos, and he said people aren't interested in seeing pets become dinner food. So I'm gonna stop the video for a few minutes and kind of skip part of that part of the process and let you pick up where they're no longer pets and work forward from where they're just meat. Let me know how that works for you guys. Does it bother you? Does it not bother you? Do you think it opens up the audience to a wider array of people, because I really don't want to pigeonhole myself in these videos to only videos of things that people that are really interested in butchering. I know a lot of my videos this winter have been butchering videos, but that's only a small part of what we do here on the farm. We're building paddocks for farm animals, and I do ham radio. We like to do a lot of camping and fishing, and we got lots of projects going on. I'm going to put up a sawmill this spring, and we're going to show you cutting some logs. We're processing firewood. I've got neighbors that use all my firewood that I've been cleaning up as I run the bulldozer. So there's a lot more to this channel than just butchering, and I don't want to isolate any of my audience by just showing the messier parts of that process. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd appreciate your ideas. Let me know what I can do. All right, so this is the duck in the cone. It's been bled now, and it is ready to go over to the plucker. Well, the scalder first and then the plucker. Then it'll come back over to this table and get processed. So this is your first step. Cut right at the base of the head. Let them bleed. They're all done. Don't ever put them in. Don't ever go any farther in this process until they're all finished right here. That's important. All right. Now, the reason we scald these is to loosen the feathers. So you want to get their body underneath the water, get their feathers loose. This water is between 150 and 160 degrees. If you get the water too hot, you'll tear the skin when you move it over to the plucker here in a minute. And if you get it too cold, the feathers don't come loose real easy. So the question becomes, how do you know when it's time to move from this over to the plucker? When you can take the largest feathers and they'll start to come loose easily. So, those wingtip feathers or tail feathers are a good indication. So that is ready to go into the plucker now. Let's bring this over here and see if we can get a bird's eye view of what's going on. So as you can see, the duck is rolling around in the bottom of this, and it's pulling off feathers. The more it tumbles, the cleaner they get. So I'm going to work on this just a little bit, and I'll come back here in a second and show you a clean plucked bird. All right, well that was disappointing. It took me quite a bit longer to get the duck feathers off of there in this yardbird plucker than I had hoped. And I've had to do quite a bit of it by hand. I think at the end, it's turned out a pretty clean bird. I'm going to have to work on it just a little more. So I can't say I'm completely disappointed in the results of processing a duck at this point, but it is definitely going to be a little more work to get the rest of these feathers off. So anyway, we're down to the duck. It's a good spot to be. Okay, so I've got the rest of the feathers off. From here, you can't really tell much difference in just about any of the poultry that you'd be working with. Geese or ducks, chickens, pheasant, quail. Anything you're going to do as a whole bird is almost always the same pretty much from here forward. It's just size difference in the poultry that you'll notice from here forward. So I've split the neck skin so that I can pull the esophagus and trachea loose from the skin flap down here and get that loose, so that when I finish removing the entrails here in just a little bit, it will be clear from that end. And I just use a pair of kitchen scissors or whatever and remove the neck. Like I said, I've got some friends that are going to use that for some stock. Right here at the bottom of the leg bone, the end of what you'd think of as the drumstick, just cut off the feet. There's nothing on those wing tips either. I'll put them over there in the bowl for the stock. Then you've got to open up the abdominal cavity here. You can either do that with your scissors or with your sharp knife, as long as you're just really careful not to nick any of the intestines. Then I make another incision down to the cloaca so that I can remove that from above the tail. And you can just pretty well reach in and remove all the entrails. Like I said, just be careful not to bust any of the intestines so that you don't get fecal matter on anything. So the intestines come out. I pull the heart loose. The liver, and then the gizzard. The rest of the entrails go over here in a bucket and they'll get disposed of. So this is good to grind into your dog food. It's not much, but by the time I get done with all the ducks and the chickens, that'll be a pretty good mess. So your heart, your liver, your gizzard, we'll split the gizzard and clean out the inside. I'll probably leave that for the folks that are going to be making this into dog food, not mess with it myself. They'll all get put in a Ziploc bag and they can clean that last bit up. Something else to do is to reach in here and make sure you get the lungs out. They're kind of in their own little sacks up in there, and you don't want to leave those in there. They'll scorch pretty easy when you're cooking. So they don't hurt. They're not going to hurt you to eat them, but they're not very appetizing. There's the windpipe from earlier. And I cut loose from the top. They do make a little tool you can reach in here and scrape these lungs out with. I've never bothered to buy it. Fingers are cheaper. And then I usually just wash the rest out when I wash the body cavity out in a few minutes. So, then you can trim up this neck skin, put it over there with the stuff for the stock. And what you've got left is a duck Needs a bath. Wash out the insides, but came out pretty good. Can't really see much of him in there, but nice and clean. Lots of duck recipes out there. So cut that up, fry it. You can bake them, put them on the grill. Lots of options. Split them down the back, take the backbone out, lay them out flat on your grill, spatchcock them, and that's a pretty good way to cook them too. Put a little seasoning on them. So there's the duck. So I hope you picked something up from that, and I'll work on the process a little bit. That's the first one I've done with the plucker. So I've done the ones in the past that I've had just by hand. It's still way easier than by hand, but I think I can fine-tune the process and get it where it'll pluck the ducks easier anyway, or more completely without as much hand plucking. I'll figure that part out. It's all process. I appreciate y'all stopping by Phillips on the Farm, watching this video today, being part of the farm family. If you got a minute, subscribe to the channel, Phillips on the Farm at YouTube. I've got Phillips on the Farm at gmail.com, Phillips on the Farm at Facebook and Instagram. I've got some merchandise out. I'll try to get a link to that posted. I'm looking for a less expensive supplier. I've got one right now, and it's okay. We've got some shirts and hats, but they're a little expensive for my taste. They are printed one at a time. I'm not keeping inventory, shipping them out myself, so when they have to print them one at a time, it does increase the cost. If I went and bought 100 of every size and kept them on the shelf and mailed them myself, I could probably sell them much cheaper, but that'd be inventory out of my pocket, and that's a tough pill to swallow at this point in the game, so we're not that big. But I do appreciate y'all supporting the channel. You can do that just by subscribing. The more subscribers I have, the more reach I've got, and the more people that can enjoy these videos, and we'll see how it all turns out. I appreciate y'all stopping by Phillips on the Farm. God bless.